The Isle of Man is famous for being a petrolhead mecca, and that's not just because of the TT. We don't have a national speed limit here, we don't have fixed speed cameras or many of the other absolutely horrible things that you find in the UK and further afield. But what we do have is a very rich motorsport heritage with many events outside of the TT, such as rallies and hill climbs. And of course we have an absolutely stunning countryside. And if you combine all these things, then you end up with a place that is perfect to be explored by car. So if you come over here to either visit or to move here, then I really recommend you get yourself a car. We have decent public transport, but there are some places, including some of the roads in this video, that you can't really explore by bus or train. So without much further ado, here are my top 5 driving roads on the Isle of Man. Now you will notice that I'm not exactly driving a sports car or a rocket ship. Although this thing has a V8, it's not particularly fast. But this video and these roads, they're not just about driving fast. Yes, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you from going up on the mountain and putting your foot down, or on some of the other roads I'm going to show you. But this is more about general enjoyment of driving. And a lot of the roads that I'm about to show you, they are about the scenic surroundings and the countryside, and basically, you know, just the beauty, the general beauty of the place, rather than just blindly going fast. If you want the couple of places where you can go the fastest, if that's what you're after, then Mountain Road, that's the place where you really want to go. You can open up on the mountain now, you can, from the Craig down into Douglas, you can open up a bit. But this isn't like Germany where you have a big autobahn. So yes, you can drive fast and spirited, but not in the way that you would find it somewhere like Germany. The first road on my list is Marine Drive in Douglas, or near Douglas at least. And this one we have to split into 2 parts. Now it is one road. Technically you could drive it all the way, but there's always a locked gate in the middle, and that means we have to split it in 2. You can reach the first part of Marine Drive just by driving up to Douglas Head and just keeping going, and then you're going to see the famous arches, and then you're already on Marine Drive. It's a stunning road that leads along the cliff top here on the coast near Douglas, and it's not a place where you can or really should drive very fast, because it's very popular with locals, and not just drivers but also pedestrians and cyclists. And there are also a few cozy spots where you can find loved up couples in the evening. So this is really a scenic place. You can take your dog for a walk here, you can go cycling here. It's also very popular for filming. Top Gear has filmed on this stretch, and a lot of other productions have been here. Most recently Audi filmed the new TT on this stretch of road. They closed it and had a blast with that one, with I think the last edition or something. Of course the Audi TT is named after the Isle of Man TT, so just fitting that they came here. I'm going to try and link to the videos in the description so you can check those out. So this is a quite popular filming location as well. And for all the 5 roads that I'm about to show you, I'm going to put the coordinates in the description, so you can just stick those into your Google Maps, and when you're over here you can drive them yourself. So number 5 on my list is Marine Drive in Douglas, or near Douglas, and it's one that's very easy to reach. Just go up to Douglas Head and keep going, and you're going to see the stunning coastal line and a more or less okay road to drive on. The next road on my list is the Port Erin to Peel Coast Road. This one's a slightly longer drive, but certainly one worth doing, especially during a nice sunny winter day. The winter sun really adds to the moody appearance of the place, and it adds, you know, a lot of atmosphere and character, and it looks really great. It starts in Port Erin, but then it goes up quite a climb up the Slough and goes down into Peel on the other side. As a result, you get some absolutely beautiful and dramatic scenic views from high up. It's one of my favorite drives on the island for sure. The Slough is also the location for many motorsports events. You get hill climbs there. It's a great driving road. So this drive combines both. It combines the scenery, and it combines somewhere where you can, you know, get your engine revved up if you wish to do so. It's also a location where many car magazines and other productions have filmed over the years. There is a story, famously, that a certain UK motoring magazine came over when the Nissan GTR first came out, and they brought the only press vehicle that Nissan UK had over here to try it out and give it the beans, as they say. And they took it up to Slough in the Fog. Slough in the Fog, there's a movie title there. And well, let's just say it didn't go as planned, and the story is that this wonderful, very rare Nissan GTR press car ended up in a wall. So, as always with Manx roads, if you're not familiar with them, like these gentlemen surely weren't, then, take your first drive a little slower. If you want to drive spirited, learn the roads first, and then once you have learned the roads and you know where it's safe to do so, you can go a bit faster. But, don't be tricked by the nice roads and it looks harmless and things. These roads can catch you out. But if you're just going to do a scenic drive, then that doesn't really matter to you. And Port Erin to Peel is certainly one of the most scenic drives on the Isle of Man, and certainly one I would absolutely recommend you check out. Another one of my all-time favorite roads and scenic views is the road that leads down to the Sound and to the Calf of Man, which is the southernmost point on the Isle of Man. It's very easy to reach. You just go to Port St Mary and you follow the signs and you end up on a very small, narrow, but very nice little road that leads down to the Sound Cafe. And you can't really miss it because it's the only place it really goes. The road stops there. You get to enjoy absolutely stunning views while you drive up and down this little road here. And you get to enjoy stunning views when you stop by the Sounds, and you can stop there, have a coffee or a bite to eat. It's a very popular place to visit for locals and for tourists. And of course you also pass Craignish, the little folk village on the way, so you can stop by there. It's winter now, so there's not that much to see there. Of course the little buildings are still there, so you can check those out. But it's really filled with more life during the summer season. What you can also do from this road, when you turn left and you go through Craignish, you go up the road, up the hill to the Chasms car park. And Chasms is a rock formation on the coast, which is again absolutely stunning. But these two, there are more, places that you can check out as a pedestrian, but you can of course drive here, park there, and then go for a walk. But yes, as far as driving is concerned, this road is definitely on the, the scenic map and not the drive fast map. And you wouldn't want to drive fast here really, because it's quite narrow and there's so much to look at and it's so pretty that I don't really want to miss that view. So my next favorite road on the list is the Port St Mary to the Sound road. If you like your classic rallying, then this location may look familiar to you. This is where a certain Mr. Vatanen once got it almost wrong, and that created the famous Dear God moment.
70, absolute right, 150, unseen easy right, 50, easy left, 50 grid, 100, oh, dear God.
I'm going to link to the Duke video in the description. It's one of the most famous rally videos or rally snippets of the Isle of Man. Of course, the island has a very, very rich history when it comes to motorsport and rallying, especially in the sort of 80s, 90s. And this Dear God moment is also a great introduction to my next favorite road, and that is the Sulby to Bungalow road, which leads from Sulby. So the way to reach this is pretty simple. You just follow the TT course. You turn right when you reach Sulby, the big Sulby Strait, can't miss it. And then you just keep on driving. The first place you will pass is Sulby and Sulby Glen, which is this beautiful road that goes through the valley here. Then you will climb up Faulty Will, and there's also the glen there, which is again a very picturesque and beautiful part of the island. You will then pass Sulby Reservoir, which is where we get a lot of our drinking water from. Great spot to stop and have a look around, take some pictures. And then you just keep on driving on that road until you reach the Bungalow, which of course is part of the mountain road. And then you can either turn left or right, either to Ramsey or to Douglas. But this road really is a mixture between very scenic and one where you can drive a little spirited, but just be aware that it is, like all roads over here really, quite narrow, and you have a lot of blind corners and you have flooding, and most importantly probably when you reach the upper parts of this, you have loads of fluffy white things called sheep. And sheep are getting hit all the time here, which is not a good thing. So, don't just look out for cars and cyclists and motorbikes, look out for four-legged obstacles as well, because it does happen a lot that people do hit them. And, sheep have terrible traffic awareness, so you wouldn't want to do that. But this road that leads from Sulby on the TT course up to the Bungalow, also on the TT course, is probably also a great location if you want to explore different locations between races, for example, because you'll be inside the TT course, and if you're here during the race, then you can theoretically go from Sulby up to the Bungalow, so you get two different locations. That's worth exploring, I guess. Also, seeing that I mentioned the famous Vatanen video, that's of course from Duke Video. I'm going to link to it below. This is a great moment to also mention, of course, Duke Video and Duke Travel, who, as you know, I work with these days and I love supporting them. This is, like I said many times before, not just about the money. I'm not really making much of this. This is about, attracting people to the island, giving them the right experience and doing it with people who really care about the place. And Peter Duke and his team certainly do so, and have done so for many, many, many years. They've been very committed to the island, so I'm more than happy to support them. So if you check the description, I'm going to link to Duke Video if you want to see more motorsport footage, videos, DVDs, Blu-rays, and of course online. And also Duke Travel if you want to travel to the Isle of Man. Now, most people think of the island just as a place where you go for the TT, but there's much, much more to this place. So check out Duke Travel below. And if you're on the Isle of Man, also check out this beautiful road. There's a transit van flying past here. This is so Isle of Man, look at this. Everyone drives fast here. So if you're on the Isle of Man, definitely also check out this road from Sulby up to the Bungalow. It's a beautiful scenic driving road. It's one where you can drive a little more spirited. Just be aware of blind corners, sheep, bikes, that kind of thing. But definitely on my list of favorite roads. Maybe a little bit unsurprisingly, my favorite driving road on the Isle of Man is of course the A18 mountain road from Ramsey to Douglas, or Douglas to Ramsey. It's pretty both ways, but I prefer it the way the TT runs, and of course that means you come up the hairpin and then you go over the mountain. It is without a doubt the most prominent road on the Isle of Man. It's probably one of the best known thanks to the TT and the Manx Grand Prix, and it is an absolute stunning drive in terms of scenery and of course in terms of being able to open up and drive a little faster if you want to do so and if the conditions allow. As you know, we don't have a speed limit on the Isle of Man, a national speed limit. Of course there are speed limits in town and everywhere else, and if you drive too fast, especially during TT, the police would be here where I'm standing now with their speed guns all the time. So where there are speed limits, you should always stick to them, but once you reach that magic sign up there, that means you can open up. Now, if you stack it, you will still get into trouble if you drive, carelessly or not to the conditions, but you can drive spirited, and that is one of the amazing freedoms and one of the biggest challenges with this road. The mountain road is beautiful and it does look relatively harmless, but it can catch you out in a multitude of ways. It's always windy, there are blind corners, there are corners that look more harmless than they actually are. And my recommendation with this one really is do drive it a few times and then start, raising up your speed if that's what you want to do. But this is a road you really have to drive. And if you're after the scenic part of it, well, there are many, many beautiful spots. Of course, the hairpin down here, well, that's one of the famous ones for the races, great spot to watch. But if you want something a little more scenic, go up to the Gooseneck, even outside of the races, it's very beautiful. Go up to Albert Tower. You can walk there, you can park there and walk up there for beautiful views over Ramsey. Then of course Guthries Memorial, you get that view over Ramsey, the very famous shot, many a bike photo taken there. From Guthries you then drive along the mountain mile towards the veranda, which is another spot where you can stop if you want to. The veranda is of course where Conor Cummins very famously parked his motorbike in the field not too long ago, a few years ago. He recovered from that spectacular incident, which is great. But if you see it on video and then you stop there and look at where he actually went down, it's incredible that he's okay again. From the veranda, you then come very quickly to the Bungalow. And of course, the Bungalow these days incorporates the Victory Cafe. So not only can you stop there for a coffee and a tea or a scone and look at the Joey Dunlop statue, but during the TT, Duke Travel will also put on a VIP viewing experience at the Victory Cafe. You can check that out with Duke Travel. The Bungalow itself is a fantastic location to watch the TT from and the Manx Grand Prix. And if you want a little more comfort, then that kind of package might be something for you. If you prefer to watch for free, of course you can do that. Thousands of people do that every year up there. You just go up before the roads close. There's also a bit of a general thing. If you watch the TT from the mountain, you will usually be stuck up there until the roads reopen. And that can be quite a while after the actual race ends, because the mountain is always the last part to open. So keep that in mind when watching. But as far as driving is concerned, from the Bungalow, you head back off, you go up to Hellwood Heights. That's the highest point on the course. And on this particular road, it's a beautiful straight, you can open up there. And what's great is when you're at the Bungalow or on that bridge outside of TT, and sports cars go under you and you can hear them scream up the hill. That's a really like a very nice spot. So if you come over, say, with a sports car club, like many people do, the Porsche Club, the Morgans are here every year. The Supercar Club, of course, comes over here. If you want to watch them, go up there to the Bungalow, stand on the bridge, and you can, have them race underneath you and hear the sound. It's a really great spot for driving and for watching driving. And then you, of course, descend into Douglas from Hellwood Heights. You're coming past a windy corner, and absolutely no guesses why it's called that. It is always seriously windy, so if you want to watch cars from there, bring a windbreaker and some gloves and a hat. From there, we're going down towards Douglas. The best part probably to mention here is Keppel Gate if you want to watch the races. But then for driving wise, if you come down towards the Craigna Bar, so Kate's Cottage, Craigna Bar is one big straight, and then you turn right at the Craig and you go down into Douglas. Those are two straights where you can open up quite a bit, but you also get very beautiful views over Douglas when you come around Kate's Cottage. It's one of those famous shots. And then you turn left and you go into Douglas, and then you're back in Douglas. So I prefer the mountain roads from the Ramsey direction, so the TT direction. Of course, you can go it both ways, and a lot of people who come here to drive do it. And it's beautiful both ways. And it's definitely my top driving road on the Isle of Man. So that's about it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope when you come over here it might be useful for you to see the place and have a bit of fun driving. And you're gonna say, hey, but my driving road wasn't there, or my favorite wasn't there, or there's more roads and you should have mentioned this and that. Well, if you have a favorite, mention it in the comments. And of course, I'm gonna do more videos about driving on the island, because there are a lot of other roads that I want to mention and other beauty spots. But for this video, I wanted to cap it at 5. And these were my 5 favorites for the moment. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.